What if one friendship could turn a party-loving, ambitious student into one of history's greatest missionaries? This is the story of St. Francis Xavier, not some dusty, distant icon, but a real guy who battled doubts, faced incredible dangers, and witnessed divine miracles. Catholics, you'll discover his Ignatian fire. History buffs, you're about to trace one of the most epic voyages ever undertaken. And stick around, because his body defies decay even today. Born in 1506 to a noble family in Navarre, Spain, Francis Xavier was the classic overachiever. He was athletic, smart, and headed to the prestigious University of Paris with big dreams. Think of today's ambitious young professionals mapping out their careers in a world full of opportunity. That was him. He enjoyed the social scene, had his sights set on fame and a comfortable life. Sound familiar in our hustle culture. But then, he met a roommate who would change everything, Ignatius of Loyola. Initially, Francis wasn't interested. He resisted Ignatius's calls to a deeper spiritual life. But Ignatius was persistent, constantly reminding him with a powerful question from the Gospel of Mark. What profit is there for one to gain the whole world and forfeit his life? Imagine hearing that every day. For Francis, this wasn't just a nagging question. It was the key that unlocked a profound internal battle. Through the spiritual exercises Ignatius developed, Francis's worldly ambitions began to crumble, replaced by a desire for something more, something eternal. He had career goals and fears, just like us, but he chose a different path. In 1534, alongside Ignatius and a few others, he co-founded the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, vowing to go wherever the Pope sent them. His life was about to take a dramatic turn. Ordained as a priest, he would soon sail for India, but the storms and sickness he faced on that journey would test him like never before. In 1542, Francis Xavier arrived in Goa, India, a key hub of the Portuguese colonial empire. The scene he found was a mix of vibrant culture and moral chaos. While European colonizers were often scandalous, Francis chose a different approach. He was incredibly approachable. He would walk through the streets ringing a little bell, gathering children to teach them their prayers and the basics of the faith. He didn't lecture from a pedestal. He met people where they were. His journey was relentless. Think of it like backpacking through Asia solo in the 1500s. No GPS, no translation apps, no easy way to call home, just radical faith. From India, he traveled to Malacca, the Spice Islands, and in 1549, he reached Japan. This was a monumental challenge. He had to learn the language and the complex culture from scratch. It was here he befriended a Japanese fugitive named Anjiro. This cross-cultural friendship was crucial. Anjiro became his translator and first convert, helping Francis adapt the catechism for the Japanese people. Through this patient work, he converted thousands, despite facing intense persecution. But don't mistake him for a superhero. The letters he wrote back to Europe reveal a man who was deeply human. He struggled with profound loneliness, battled frequent illnesses, and had to navigate disputes among his fellow Jesuits. He was stretched thin, yet his resolve never wavered. He was living out the Great Commission from Matthew's Gospel. Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations. He may have baptized over 30,000 people with his own hands, but his most astounding works were yet to come. They began with a boy who had drowned in a well. When we talk about miracles, it's easy to get skeptical, but the accounts from Francis Xavier's life are staggering. Documented by hundreds of eyewitnesses during his canonization process in 1622, let us start with that drowned boy. After being pulled from a well, appearing lifeless, Francis prayed over him, and the boy was restored to life. This wasn't a one-time event. There are multiple accounts of him raising the dead. He healed the sick with just a prayer or a touch. On treacherous sea voyages, he was said to have calmed violent storms. There were even reports of bilocation. where he was seen in two different places at the same time, ministering to communities miles apart. In Japan, while he preached, witnesses reported seeing a tongue of fire above his head, recalling the Pentecost event in the Acts of the Apostles, a sign that he was speaking with divine authority even when he struggled with the language. The key here isn't to see him as a superhuman magician. The Church teaches that these miracles were signs of God's power working through a flawed but willing human being. It was God's grace flowing through a man who simply said yes. He died young, at only 46, but his legacy was just beginning, and it's a legacy that is still unfolding right now. On December 3, 1552, Francis Xavier died on Sanchin Island, just off the coast of China, a land he longed to enter. He died exhausted, alone in a humble hut, a very human end to an extraordinary life. But his story was far from over. He became the patron saint of missions, and his zeal inspired countless Jesuits and missionaries to travel to the ends of the earth. And then there's the enduring marvel, his body, buried in quicklime. It was expected to decompose rapidly. Instead, when exhumed months later, it was found to be incorrupt, fresh, and lifelike. Today, his body rests in a silver casket in the Basilica of Bom Jesus in Goa, India, a site of pilgrimage for millions. Just recently, from late 2024 to January 2025, a public exposition of his relics drew massive crowds, an event so significant it was covered by international news. The devotion continues. With his feast day on December 3rd and the annual Novena of Grace in March drawing believers worldwide, in a world that often feels chaotic and directionless, Francis Xavier's story shows that one person's yes to a higher calling can truly change the world, impacting millions across centuries. His life poses a question to each of us. What is your great calling? Francis Xavier's story is a powerful blend of human grit and divine wonder, of adventure and unwavering faith. If you were inspired by his journey, please give this video a like and subscribe for more stories of incredible lives. And let me know in the comments, which part of his story, a miracle or a mission, moved you the most. Stay tuned, because next, we're diving into the life of another Jesuit trailblazer who took faith into the final frontier. Thanks for watching.